Hi guys, and welcome back to another video for the blog Discovering Wholeness, which I will link to in the description below. Hopefully your day is going well, and even if it isn't, that's totally okay. I'm glad to have you here. Today, as the title says, we're going to be talking about comparing pain. So comparing either emotional or physical pain. This is something that we do a lot, but I don't feel that in most cases it's very helpful. So you'll see a lot where you may have the tendency to compare the pain that you're feeling in your life to somebody else. And maybe this is even something that you were told growing up. As in, why are you complaining about this when someone else is going through that? And that is way worse than what you're going through. You have no right to complain. You have no right to whine, right? That sounds familiar. And this is something that we often do with ourselves or with other people. And the reason that it's harmful is that it invalidates pain that we're feeling. So we can invalidate our own pain by saying, for example, hey, Rebecca, you shouldn't be making such a big deal out about this. This isn't worth a panic attack. This isn't worth having anxiety. Look at what that other person's going through. They're having a horrible time. They just got divorced. They had to change houses. They're losing all their money. They've lost contact with their relatives. A family member died. Like, this is nothing. Why are you having a panic attack? And so we use that to invalidate our experience and maybe even sometimes invalidate somebody else's experience when we project that onto somebody else and say, well, you're not having such a tough time. Like, why is this hard for you? This other person, like, look at them. They've had a divorce and they're getting remarried and they're moving on with their life. And you're just here and, your video game broke and you're sobbing, And sometimes comparison can be helpful, but only if we approach it with a loving, accepting mindset, and only if it shifts us into a place of gratitude, acceptance, and paves the way for us to move forward. So sometimes, yes, putting our experience in the larger perspective can be beneficial, but a lot of the times we don't approach it that way and we don't use it in that way. We use it as a way to invalidate it. So one of the examples that I really love that one of my best friends growing up, and still one of my best friends, told me was, he said, Rebecca, it's kind of like someone who's never, ever, ever sustained any type of injury before getting a paper cut, right? So imagine you're 21 years old, you've never been bruised, you've never bumped against something, you've never scraped your knee, you've never gotten carpet burn, you never got a sore throat, and then all of a sudden you get a paper cut and it's bleeding. You're gonna freak the hell out. You're gonna go crazy. You're gonna freak out. You're gonna be running around. You're gonna be like, I don't even have bandages. Like, I didn't know that I needed those. I have no systems, no techniques. You're gonna freak out. But maybe you have somebody else and they have experienced pain before, right? And so when they accidentally stick their hand on the burner and their hand gets burned and they have to go to the hospital, yes, it's really painful, it's frightening, it's scary, but also pain is something a little bit familiar. Maybe they have better techniques in place. Maybe they've got some bandages in their bathroom. Maybe they know, the number for 911, and maybe they can deal with it a little bit better because they have different resources, different expectation, and here's the most important part, different experience. All of our experience is different. And so a lot of our pain, both emotional and physical, is relative, right? It's not objective. And there may be even some objective components that are different, such as pain tolerance. Like, pain threshold is different for everyone. For some people, getting bruised might really, really hurt. And for other people, it might be like, it's just a bruise. I don't care. Some of it may be mindset. So if we talk about emotional wounds, people that may be more inclined toward depression, more inclined toward anxiety, right? So we have different pain thresholds for physical pain and for emotional pain. So that's where it gets tricky to compare ourselves to others, because that other person has a different threshold. So if you are going to compare yourself to somebody else, you have to find someone who has the same exact pain threshold, emotionally or physically, that you do. And good luck trying to figure out exactly who falls on that same scale with you, right? So what I want to encourage you to do is to validate the pain that you're feeling, right? If you're heartbroken because your favorite plant died and you're feeling depressed, that's okay. Validate that feeling. Accept that. Be gentle and kind with yourself. And if you're dealing with a big tragedy and you're falling apart, likewise, be gentle, be kind. Don't look at the other person that's oh, here's a big tragedy and they're already back on their feet and moving along. That's relative. They may be experiencing that moment totally different than you. They may have different resources, different support systems, different mindsets that they've honed over the years. And it's okay. It's okay to feel your pain the way that you experience and that you feel your pain. Validation and acceptance, I believe, is one of the first steps toward healing and moving past that and getting back to a better place in your life. Because the more that we invalidate it, the more that we say, I don't deserve to feel this way. Shame on me for crying over spilt milk, which I would totally do, right? But yeah, so we don't want to get stuck in that process of invalidation. We don't want to get stuck in that process of self-shaming or of shaming and invalidating somebody else. Because the more that you do this, the more that you obstruct yourself from being able to grow. The more that you say, this shouldn't be and I shouldn't be, now you're turning self-hatred, self-anger, self-loathing, shame, guilt, and these are not emotions that are going to help you move forward in your life. So the biggest tip that I can give you is to remember that pain is relative, to accept the pain that you're feeling, maybe even feel gratitude for it. So for example, let's say your favorite plant dies and you're breaking down and you're crying and having a panic attack. Well, maybe that's kind of beautiful because that shows how attached you are to nature. That shows how much this meant to you and how much love you have to give, that even a household plant, losing that, is like a piece of your soul getting torn out, right? There's a different way that we can look at this. There's a more beneficial way. So the first step is accepting where you're at and being gentle and kind to yourself and recognizing mentally that pain is a scale and not really something that you can just compare one-on-one. And then the second step is to realize that moving forward from that pain, depending on how big the pain is, how long it lasts. For example, if you have bad physical pain, it might just last for a little bit and go away. Emotional pain might last longer. Just remember that it can be a slow process. And that's okay too. Everyone, just as pain is relative, everyone moves on their own different timeline at different times of their life and in different ways. So I hope that this helps you to stop comparing your pain to somebody else's pain, to realize that they're different, to realize that they're relative. Maybe this gives you more patience with yourself and with the people around you when maybe you don't understand why someone else is hurting to the degree that they are, or you don't understand why you're hurting to the degree that you are. And I just want you to know that it's okay and to empower you to move forward, accept where you're at, and slowly and gently get started on the healing work that you need to do for your unique situation. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Enjoy the weather outside. Where I am, it's nice and overcast, which I love. And yeah, hopefully take this to heart and maybe spend some time journaling about it, working on it, see if you can apply it to your life. Check out the blog, which I will link below. Remember to like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you around. Bye, guys.